This team of challengers appeared on To Tell the Truth 18 years ago. Listen to this.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is John Cher.
Number two.
My name is John Cher.
Number three.
My name is John Cher.
These three young men are now grown up, and all three of them are with us today. Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is John Cher.
Number two.
My name is John Cher.
Number three.
My name is John Cher.
Only one of these people is the real John Cher, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel. Actor and raconteur Orson Bean. Star of Mama's Family, Vicki Lawrence Schultz. Sports commentator and author Jay Johnstone. And To Tell the Truth's very own Kitty Carlisle. Here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Lynn Swann.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, panel. Let's get right to the story presented by our first team of challengers, all three of whom claim to be John Cher. And here is the story. This is very interesting. Please read along with me. I, John Cher, am a fashion designer. 18 years ago, when I was 10 years old, I appeared on To Tell the Truth because Women's Wear Daily printed a story praising my fashion sketches. Mademoiselle magazine invited me to New York and hosted a luncheon in my honor where I met such fashion greats as Anne Klein and Oscar de la Renta. Since then, all my dreams have come true, and now my creations are featured in major department stores. Here is Susie in a daytime suit in lavender raw silk with balloon sleeves worn over a blue shell top and slim cigarette pants. And here is Elizabeth wearing a swing coat executed in gold lame with dolman sleeves completely reversible to sky blue silk worn over a fuchsia silk chiffon sheath with floating panels. The highlight of my early career was appearing on To Tell the Truth. And today, I am here again with the very same imposters. Signed, John Cher. We'll be back with this fashion designer right after this. All right. Panel, these three people claim to be John Cher, fashion designer who appeared on To Tell the Truth 18 years ago. Let's start the questioning with Kitty Carlisle. Do you recognize him?
And number one, was I on the show when you were on?
Yes, you were.
I was? Oh, my goodness. I love your clothes. Number two, I love that lame coat with the reversible inside. Number three, how much would a coat like that cost?
That one costs about $600.
Thank you. Number two, are you retail or wholesale?
Oh, we retail.
And number one, where's your shop?
We're in the Garment Center on 35th Street in Manhattan.
And number two, could I
Kitty,
come and
thank you.
get one?
Jay.
Could you get
Number two, why not a wide receiver in football? Why a fashion designer?
It's just something that I aspired to since I was really young, and I thought I'd follow it through.
Number three, as a fashion designer, what do you really do?
What do I really do? I basically do everything. I sketch, I drape, I answer phones, I'm a messenger. I do everything now.
Number one, the stores here in California, who would carry your designs?
Fred Siegel, Motorsport, Nordstrom's.
Number two, where is the fashion that you get your material from? Where does it come from?
We pick it up in sheaths.
Okay. Not in the country, in sheets.
Yeah. You fool. Number one.
I wanted to know if it came from overseas, like France or Italy
none
or
of your
China.
business.
You know, like Magellan said.
Number one, did Kitty guess you right when you were here before? Did she get the right person?
Yes, she did.
Number two, were you a good liar?
I was.
Uh-huh. What's number 3? What's the name of your label? Is it your name?
It's my name. It's John Cher.
And how many people do you employ, number 2?
It's just myself and my cutter right now.
So how many outfits are you putting out, number 1, per year? I mean, how many of those pink dresses did you make?
Well, we made about 75 to 100 for the season in the cutting.
And number 2, who's your favorite designer?
I'd have to say Giorgio Armani.
Vicky, thank you. Orson.
Number 3, by you, it's just you and your cutter, too?
Yeah.
Just you 2 guys are there? Do you
It's
yell
a
at him a
woman.
lot? Make faster. I gotta have 75 of these by Thursday?
Well, we don't do the work. We don't do the work there. I just do the sketching there, and then we send it out.
And the cutter does everything else, right?
Not everything else.
Not everything. All right, I don't understand. Number 1, now, you're the real one, right?
Well, I hope so.
Well, I certainly hope so, too. Otherwise, you're a lousy liar. Are 2 and 3 good liars, number 1?
Oh, that's it. Time's up. Time's up. Orson, you two, I don't know if we should let you two sit next to each other. You two are so bad together. But you're good. You're very good. Time for you to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And, of course, if they stumped our panel completely, they will receive $3,000. Our panel looks eager. They're ready to vote. Kitty, can you go 100%?
Well, I hope I get the right one again the way I did before, but a lot of time has passed, and so maybe I'm wrong, but I voted for number 1.
Okay. Jay?
Number 1 looks like a police friend of mine, so I voted for number 2. I liked his answer. He said he was a very good liar.
Vicky.
But number 2 said he was a liar.
He's a good liar.
So did number 1, which means that they can't be the real ones, because the real one is sworn to tell the truth.
I thought that was a very good question.
Oh, I
You did
got
very-
it now,
Orson.
Well, I wonder what these guys think about their lives, that 18 years later they're doing the same damn thing. I voted for number 2. Number 3 claimed to understand the business. I never knew anyone in the garment business that claimed to understand it. So I don't understand
They
this
were
business.
just in it, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, the votes are in. It's amazing. Number 1 has a single vote. Number 2 has 2 votes. And number 3 has a vote. I can't believe you asked him if he was a liar and he said yes. He did. Okay. Now, it's time to find out who the real fashion designer is. Who did you vote for anyway? Number 3? Okay. Let's find out. I want to remind the audience, watch the monitor so you see at home what you see here, what everyone at home is going to see. It's very special. Will the real John Cher of yesterday and today please stand up? It's number 1. And he still fooled you. And Kitty, you got him right once again. This is great. Let's find out who the imposters are. Number 2, your name and what do you do?
My name is Carl Seidel, and I'm a student of traditional Chinese medicine, and I sell Chinese herbs.
That could not have been what you wanted to do 18 years ago.
No, it wasn't.
Change. Number 3, your name and what do you do?
My name is Jed Seidel, and I'm a screenwriter, and number 2 is my brother.
And they're working the same gig together. This is vaudeville, folks. You always wanted to be a writer, is that correct?
Absolutely.
So you're doing it. Okay. This is absolutely terrific. There were 3 incorrect votes, so your team is going to get $1,500. John, you said all your dreams came true. Is this really your dream come true? Are your fashions all over the country?
This is it. They're all over the place. They're on the East Coast, the West Coast. They're down south. And I couldn't ask for anything more right now.
Were you surprised when they called you up and said, would you like to do To Tell the Truth one more time?
I was very surprised. I was pleasantly surprised.
Wonderful. I'm glad we could find you all and you could come back to do To Tell the Truth 18 years later. You were terrific. Thank you very much. We'll be back with a housewife who waged war against the television show right after this. To Tell the Truth is back. Let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Terry Rakolta.
Number 2.
My name is Terry Rakolta.
Number 3.
My name is Terry Rakolta.
It's up to you, panel, to locate the real Terry Rakolta, and here is her story. Read along with me. I, Terry Rakolta, am married with children. But while watching the Fox TV series with the same title, Married with Children, I became enraged. What I saw was sexual innuendos at 8:30 on Sunday night. I decided to do something about it. I sent my kids out of the room. I continued watching to see what kind of advertisers would support this trash. What I saw shocked me. After a sleepless night, I wrote letters of complaint. To my surprise, a number of company presidents wrote back saying that they would no longer buy time on the show. Although the publicity from my boycott drove the show into the top 20, I don't consider my campaign a failure. I think that the network should set aside 2 hours of primetime entertainment for all ages. Calls and letters of support have inspired me to found Americans for Responsible Television. Signed, Terry Rakolta. We'll begin the questioning with Orson Bean.
Thank you. Number 2, explain the sentence, although the publicity for my boycott drove the show into the top 20, I don't consider my campaign a failure. Sounds like failure to me, number 2.
Actually, it got a lot of support. It got a lot of attention for the issue.
I remember all that attention and tuned in the show for the first time. Enjoyed it thoroughly. Number 3, now, I admit that the show is trash, but sometimes trash is fun. When the kids are in the room, don't you sneak a little laugh or two out of them?
I turn off the television. As a matter of fact, we don't even watch television anymore. But me turning off the television doesn't help the other kids around the country. So that's why I've taken my stand.
Yeah, well, number 1, turning off the tube really is the best way to deal with stuff that you consider offensive, isn't it?
No, I don't think so, because these are the public airwaves, and they belong to the public, and we have a right to object.
Yeah, well, number 2, even the best of it ain't so great. Excuse me.
Before you get into that editorial, Orson, we'll go to Vicki.
There are people turning Orson off right now. Oh, yeah?
Don't, folks, you'll miss Vicki.
Number 1, so do you not let your children watch any television?
No, our television's turned off at this point in time.
So are you saying, number 2, that there are no shows on TV that you find suitable for children?
No, I'm not saying that. I happen to like the dynamics that go on in my household now. I talk to my kids. We do homework.
But they watch no television?
They're not totally forbidden.
Number 3, do you really think... How old are your kids?
My kids are 10, 11, and 12, and one is 19.
And
Thank you. Jay.
Number 2, as the founder of Americans for Responsible Television, do you see any light at the end of the tunnel for your quest?
Absolutely. We're getting tremendous support. We have a direct mail system, and I get stopped on the street with mothers and fathers telling me to keep up the fight.
Number 3, on your letters to the presidents of companies, did they pull their time and advertisement off that show or other shows like that?
Some of them did down the line. I received a lot of support from them. They weren't even aware that this type of programming was occurring during the shows they were sponsoring.
Number 1, what are the kind of things you're trying to do to solicit more support?
We're in a direct mail effort. We have speaking engagements. We're talking to coalitions of people.
Thank you. Kitty.
Number 2, do your children protest that they don't see television, they can't talk to their friends at school about the shows and so forth?
I think that was their initial reaction, but they don't seem to be permanently harmed.
Number 3, do you find that they read more now that they don't watch television?
Absolutely. They read more, we communicate more, we do homework together. We're more of a family now than we were before.
Number 1, what do you do when you're not watching television? How do they fill that time?
It's more creative, there's more playtime, there's more reading.
And
there's that buzzer or bell. It means that your time is up, and it's time to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. So, panel, if you're ready to cast your ballots, Orson, we're back to you.
Well, there's a movement to get this show off the air because it promotes lying. I must say, my kids and I didn't watch TV together once we threw the set out, and we had a wonderful... I voted for number 1. She has Tipper Gore's eyes.
Vicki.
Well, I thought they were all wonderful. I was sort of stumped on this one. I wonder, I'm offended by some of the television, too, but I wonder if kids really understand a lot of that stuff. You know, I think they laugh at stuff that they don't even understand. On the other hand, they know more about sex than I did when I got married.
We even do now.
They do already. They know more than I have. Really? I didn't know that. We voted for number 2.
Jay.
I love number 2's answers about the homework, but I know it's number 3.
You just know.
I know.
They all had real conviction. And I do think that television should be monitored a little bit, and maybe there's a little too much of it, but it's hard to censor these days, I think. But I voted for number 2.
Okay. There is the vote of our panel. Number 1, you have a single vote. Number 2, you have 2. And number 3, you have 1 vote. Now let's find out who the real primetime watchdog is. Will the real Terry Rakolta please stand up? Number 1. Very good, Orson. Obviously, there are a lot of people who feel that, you know, television, to some degree, is an art form, and you can't censor them, and should not be censored. Have you received any backlash at all from this?
No, not really. Every place I go, people say, keep going. We believe in you. We think the same way you think. And that, you know, you're speaking for a lot of people that are not being heard. And this isn't censorship, it's consumership.
And you're exercising your right
My First Amendment rights to object and influence.
Well, let's meet your imposters and find out what they do. Number 2, your name and what do you do?
My name is Adrienne Pettyjohn, and I'm an administrative assistant in a labor union.
Wonderful. And number 3?
My name is Pat Doninger, and I'm an attorney, and I do corporate consulting.
Terrific. Well, there were 3 incorrect votes at $500 a vote. Your team will receive $1,500. Thank you very much for being with us here on To Tell the Truth. We'll be back to play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience right after this. Now it's time to play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience. So, Burton, who do you have sitting out there for us?
Well, Lynn, today we have Jos Cavani from Alhambra, California.
All right, Joe, welcome. All right. Joe, here's your chance to play one-on-one. Okay. I want you to meet a woman who has 2 stories. Please welcome Joe. Joe, welcome to the show. Now, Joe and Joe. Joe in the audience. This Joe has 2 stories, only one of which is the truth. If you spot the right story, the true story, you'll win $500. So listen carefully. Joe, what's your first story?
I manage a sleep disorders clinic. We help people stop snoring. My name is Joe Yawn.
Now, Joe in the audience, that may or may not be the truth. Listen to her second story.
I will.
I'm a champion cotton picker. I'm the fastest cotton picker in the country. My name is Joe Picker.
Okay, panel. You get to help Joe in the audience win $500 and find out what her real last name is. Kitty, we'll start with you. 1 question on each story, the snoring story.
Thank you. Joe Yawn, what is apnea?
Apnea happens when the airway in the throat closes off and a person can't breathe.
Jay?
Joe, what do you do in a sleep disorder clinic?
We watch people sleep all night long.
What a job. Vicki?
Don't people snore at different times? Like if you're not necessarily always a snorer, are you? Like
Not
all the time?
necessarily. It depends on position or maybe what stage of sleep you might be in.
Orson?
Joe Yawn, is the widespread belief true that fat guys snore more than other people?
No, it's not.
How did they get to be such a widespread... Oh,
Just 1 question. Now, Joe in the audience, you heard the first story.
Yes,
Here's story number 2, the cotton picker. Kitty?
How much cotton can a picker pick?
On a good day, a good cotton picker can pick about 10 sacks of cotton a day.
Jay?
What's the name of the machine that picks it?
Cotton picker.
Pretty simple. Vicki?
How is it that you have lovely hands and a manicure?
I wear surgical gloves. You can pick the bowls out quickly that way.
Orson?
Joe Picker, how did you get to be the fastest cotton picker in the country?
I went to a regional contest, and I went to Atlanta for the Nationals.
Okay, Mr. Joe, do you think Joe stops people from snoring, or do you think she is the cotton picker?
I think Joe helps insomniacs sleep. just because she looks like she's got the right personality to help you kind of get that good night's sleep.
Joe, what does that say? Joe, what is your true story?
To tell the truth, I'm Joe Yawn. I help people stop snoring.
Congratulations, Joe. You win $500.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for a great question.
Now, Joe, I mean, do these people, I mean, when you put them to sleep, do you have to medicate them or just like naturally?
Oh,
they just
no,
go?
naturally. Naturally. When we watch them in their natural, at night when they're usually asleep.
Have you ever fallen asleep on the job?
Almost.
Okay. Joe, thank you very much for being here and playing on To Tell the Truth.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We'll see you next time. So long.
GSN, the network for games.